Hello, friends, and welcome to the PowHERful Podcast. I'm your host, AJ McCord. In this podcast, we introduce you to powerful women who are changing the game in and outside of their field of play. These are women's stories, women who happen to be doing things that many of us can only dream of, but the lessons and inspiration they share is universal. You guys, we are less than a year away from the 2026 Winter Olympic and Paralympic Games in Milan Cortina, and I am so excited to introduce you to this woman who has been on fire this World Cup qualifying season. She has already brought home a medal for Team USA in her sport, which is Moguls. Meet Jaelin Kauf. She is from the tiny little town of Alta, Wyoming, and she talks us through how she competes in basically like three sports in one, because Moguls combines speed with flips, with turns, and it is mesmerizing to watch her compete in Moguls. She has won her fourth and fifth consecutive World Cup victories this season alone. So she's on track to become a three-time Olympian. And she talks us through what it's like to grow up with parents who also were professionals in her sport. And then we, of course, dive into the viral moment that was the U.S. free ski team doing a little Dallas Cowboys cheerleader routine, and how moments like that are actually the ones that she's going to remember most from this season, where she has won so many freaking events. So I cannot wait for you to listen to this episode of the PowHERful Podcast. Meet Jaelin Kauf. She is a powerhouse. I am so excited to introduce you to a woman who is looking to make some history in Italy next year by participating in a brand new sport while continuing to cement her legacy in a sport that she already has made 2 Olympic appearances in. She has a dozen plus World Cup victories and is the seven-time USA champion. Meet Jaelin Kauf, who is one of the best mogul skiers in the entire world. She's already really cemented her legacy in singles, but Jaelin, next year we're going to talk about duels because it's a brand new Olympic sport, and I'm so excited to talk to you and understand how you went from Alta, Wyoming, which is a population of less than 700, according to the Google, to one of the most well-traveled, well-decorated skiers in the entire world. Thank you for being on the PowHERful Podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Super excited.
I'm so stoked. We're talking in almost opposite time zones right now, because you are in Kazakhstan in the middle of this really critical World Cup season where you're trying to lock in a spot for Team USA in 2026, less than a year away. So talk to me right now about what this season means for you as a mogul skier trying to get one of those coveted Team USA spots.
Yeah, the season is huge. There is an Olympic spot on the line based on all of our World Cups this season. And so we have 3 more stops on tour this year, 4 more World Cups to qualify. And so it's huge to be able to get that early decision spot and know that you're going to the Olympic Games and be able to prepare for that all summer and all of next season leading into it.
And sorry, not sorry, but we're going to hype on you a little bit, because this World Cup season is already starting off pretty darn well. This past weekend, you earned your 4th and 5th consecutive victories and took the lead in the World Cup overall mogul standing. So Jaelin, what are you tapping into this season that you have just locked in and are able to perform at every single stop so far?
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of been a long time coming, just putting all the pieces together to make it all happen this year. And I've really tapped into just that consistency throughout the day, being able to put down the runs that I'm after from start to finish throughout the day, and really trying to build and save that best one for the last of the day, for that final run, the podium run. And I feel like I've really consistently been able to do that this year, which has obviously worked out and gotten me some really good results so far.
So when you say runs throughout the day, walk me through what a day of competition looks like that, starts with the opening round and then ends up consistently leading to you being on top of the podium.
Yeah, so how our So we have singles and duels. How the singles day works is everyone gets one run of qualifications, which is personally my least favorite. It's like the most kind of nerve-wracking because I know I'm good enough to be in finals and you just don't want to make a stupid mistake at that point. And then the top 16 move on to finals. And from there, the top 6 go to super finals to get that final run for the podium.
Wow.
And then for duels, it's just bracket format, single elimination, working your way through until the final run, going for 1 and 2, ideally.
So my question is, how do we take care of our knees on a competition day? Because that is a lot of moguls. And I think anybody who has tried to ski moguls is sitting here doing the math of how many runs that is. And I want to reach for ice packs right now.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. It's definitely my back that feels it a lot more than the knees. But getting a solid warm up in the morning and make sure that the body's ready to go by the time the comp comes.
Yeah, I can imagine. And it's been so fun because to prepare for this interview, I've watched a lot more mogul skiing than I have since, 2022 in Beijing. And it is pretty incredible what you do, not only within the moguls, but then on the jump itself. And then obviously there's a difference between singles and duels. So I think singles, most of us have a pretty good idea of what a good singles run looks like, but duels is making its debut in 2026. So can you explain that competition for those of us who unashamedly a snowboarder here, so I don't do moguls, period, end of discussion, but I love watching it. So for duels, break it down for those of us who don't really understand what that competition looks like.
Yeah, so for dual moguls, it's a head-to-head event. And so you have red course, blue course, there's a start gate at the top. And when that drops, both competitors go. And so you're doing your run side by side. And both still same course, 2 jumps, moguls in the middle. And it's so exciting to be a part of, to watch. It's such a great spectator event because you just get to see that side by side comparison. And yeah, when it comes down to it, you're just trying to beat your competitor to the finish line and put down a better run than they did.
Okay, so you're racing the person next to you. It's not like you're a team. This isn't like synchronized diving type vibes. This is like we're racing next to each other.
Yeah, exactly. So, we take a pretty similar run to our singles mogul run, doing a pretty similar air package, at least on the women's side. And yeah, it's still scored the same. Both jumps are scored. Your skiing is still compared to each other. And then there's the time. And yeah, you're just trying to beat the person down next to you and hope to move on to the next round. The exciting thing with duels is anything can happen. Literally anything can happen. People blow out, crash. It can be a lot of chaos and it can be anyone's day, really.
Well, and not only can anything happen, but you can watch anything happen right next to you, right? That's the part that's crazy to me. It would be it's like, to find another sport to compare it to, it's almost similar to like a banked slalom or like border cross or, like one of those events where everybody starts at the gate at the same time. And obviously you're not jarring for position in moguls, but it's kind of like, what kind of adrenaline does that give you as a competitor who's always kind of flown solo down a run? What kind of emotion does that bring out of you to watch, to like feel and see in your peripheral the person you're competing against?
Yeah, it's so exciting. I've always loved duels a bit more than singles. I love both, but with duels, it takes a little bit of the thought out of it, of trying to perfect your run. Because when you see someone start to pull ahead of you, or you hear them skiing next to you or right behind you, you're not thinking about the little things. You're just thinking about staying out in front or just trying to catch up to them and do whatever you have to do to make it down and to beat that person.
Oh my
gosh.
And
the adrenaline is pumping the entire way through.
That is so much fun. I can imagine that like that just like I can feel your excitement and your competitiveness like kick in just when you're talking about that. And I think, so many times I'm always curious how athletes end up in these Olympic sports, but for you, it's not really a surprise that that competitiveness and that athleticism and moguls got passed down and you are one of the best because both of your parents were professional mogul skiers, right?
Yeah.
So walk me through what it was like growing up with parents, two parents who were professionals.
Yeah, I think I don't know if everyone grows up, I guess, thinking of becoming a professional skier, or that being like a career option. And so that was pretty cool for me to, that's what my parents did for a long time. Like watching old videos of them competing or watching my mom compete in the X Games, in skier cross as a kid. Like I grew up seeing that as a possibility and an option for myself. Um, and yeah, it's just such a cool world to grow up in and to be a part of.
What was that like to share that sort of moment with your mom in particular of going from watching her compete at X Games, like seeing tapes of her competing at X Games, to then you deciding to take on this same career path?
Yeah, I think with both my parents, it's just been really special to share that with them. Like I always know that they understand what I'm going through. They understand what it's like to be an athlete, to be in the positions that I'm in, um, and kind of that comp mentality and love for mogul skiing as well. Like
Yeah.
to all be able to share that is really cool, and um, I think it's amazing that they have that. We share that understanding of it.
Was there ever any moment growing up? Because I know, I competed athletically growing up in like every sport under the sun, but softball in particular. And it's always interesting to figure out how parents walk that line of being a coach and also being a parent. How did that
Mhm.
go in your household growing up?
Yeah, both of my parents were just kind of always a coach in some area. Um, obviously growing up in a very small town of under 700 people, um, like they were my soccer coaches, and when my brother and I wanted to start skiing and freestyle skiing, like there wasn't a freestyle program at the mountain. And so they would just kind of take us to events and teach us how to do 360s and ski moguls. And so it was just kind of always something that like that was a part of our family and something that was so normal for me for them to coach me. And I think also them being athletes themselves, did a really great job of not putting the pressure on me of this is what you have to do. This is, you have to be a skier. You have to love mogul skiing. Like they just put my brother and I in every sport. We tried everything and we're going to support us in no matter what we chose to do.
What was it about moguls that ended up setting that one apart from everything else you tried?
Yeah, I love skiing. Like I feel like there's just such a deep love for being in the mountains, for being on snow. From my family, the community, like where I grew up, that was just so instilled in me. And so it was going to be something with skiing, something in the mountains. And I tried alpine skiing, I did big mountain, I did skier cross, like kind of tried all the sports and did them through about halfway through high school, I guess, like junior year maybe was my last year doing another event. And with mogul skiing, what it came down to is it combines every aspect of skiing into one run. Like it has the jumping, it has the speed, and it has the technical skiing, and it just packs that into a under 30-second run. And so it just, yeah, had a bit of everything in it.
It's such a I'm so glad you put it that way because I think that's one of the things that like when you watch moguls, you really do see like the speed of alpine, you see the excitement of the jump and like it's just like when a mogul skier is in rhythm with the moguls themselves, it is one of the most beautiful aspects of moguls or of skiing, I think, because it's just
Hmm.
like your knees are bending in the right, right with the thing and da 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 da. What is that feeling like? Because I'll never feel it, but I want to know, like, what does that feel like when you're in that sort of flow state and just in rhythm with the mountain?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. Like it is that flow state. You're um like it's kind of the same as like just out free skiing, like making some like nice powder turns of you're not thinking about it. It's all just happening and like it's just working so perfectly. Like you're just in that flow and don't have to think about it. Um, and like I always say, if you're thinking about it, then it's probably not going well.
Very valid, very valid. If you're not like trusting your
Yep.
body to do all of the work that you've put in all of the time and all of the training to do, something's a little out of rhythm there.
Yeah.
What is so you won the silver in
Hmm.
2022 in Beijing, but I know it was a really long like at the beginning of this we listed all of your accolades and they are so impressive. They are worthy of being recognized, but I know that that road was so far from easy and it's easy to count the accolades, but they come with so many lessons, with so many bumps and bruises. When you put that silver medal around your neck in 2022, what was the thing that you were the most proud of yourself for overcoming to get to that point where you are an Olympic medalist?
Yeah, I mean, um, I think, man, yeah, I mean, after like the 2018 Olympics, my first Olympics was definitely a very bittersweet experience for me. And I felt like I had a little something more in the tank at the end of the day, at those Olympic Games. I feel like I could have put more out there. I could have, pushed a little more in my runs. And that was a horrible feeling to leave those games with, um, to feel like I didn't put it all out there. And so going into the 2022 Olympics, that was my goal. Once I got there, was every single run, qualification, finals, super finals, every run, I wanted to be able to look back after I crossed the finish line and know that I'd given it everything.
Mm.
Because not every run was guaranteed. In 2018, I learned that lesson of I finished seventh. The top six get to move on and ski for the medals. So that was heartbreaking to not get that final run to put it all out there at those games. And I wasn't going to let myself do that again in 2022. Um, I was going to just ski every run for me, just let the pressure go and just have as much fun as I can, take every single moment in and just put it all out there every time. And so I was really proud of myself to be able to do exactly that.
Yeah.
That entire week of skiing, every day of training, like every run I skied, I seriously had so much fun. Um, yeah, every run, I feel like I put everything I could out there. I skied as hard as I could. Um, and I knew like there was nothing more I could have given. And so it's just obviously winning an Olympic medal is the dream, but even without that, like I knew I did everything I wanted to those games.
Mm. And that's such a I think so often as athletes, we tend to be very results oriented because that's obviously you're going for a result, right? Like we all
Hmm.
love the game itself and there's an element of like you love skiing and that's why you do it and that's why you do it as a profession, but I think, I was a competitive gymnast, and there's that results oriented feeling of like, I'll be happy if I get this medal, or I'll be happy if I get this result. And it sounds like you became much more process oriented of like, it doesn't actually matter how I end up as long as I left everything out there. And that like is more of a process oriented mindset than a results oriented mindset, which is always a really important thing for me personally to be reminded about, is like switching my mindset from result to process. How did you do that? How did you switch your mindset from 2018 to 2022 to where you became, it's all about the process. It's all about just making sure I leave everything out there and like trust that, let the chips fall where they may after that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a constant battle and constant learning curve of, even a week before the games of our last training camp, that last competition, maybe 2 weeks before the games, like I was not feeling that way. I was not in a good mental space at all. I was very low in confidence and very down on myself. And I mean, talking to a lot of different friends and mentors and former athletes in the sport to just, be able to kind of recognize that it is all about the journey. Like it's obviously we have those goals of, I want to win, I want to get an Olympic medal, and that's what drives us. But it truly is so much about the process. Like looking back on competitions in my entire career, it's not those moments of like, besides maybe the Olympics, of like standing on the podium actually, that like is what you truly remember. It's all those in between, the times with friends and teammates and all those little moments here and there. And so that's what that was really about with the games for me, was enjoying every single moment of it and taking all of that in. Because I think you miss out a lot if you're just so zoned in on one single thing and not able to enjoy it along the way.
How has that mindset affected the way that you prepare for this next games? Because it sounds like that was something that had to switch like a week before 2022, and now it's been settling for 3 years, and you're in the process of this World Cup qualifying season. You are, from a results perspective, you are as on fire as you have ever been. How do you feel like understanding that mindset has helped you have different results and have enjoy sort of the fruits of almost not worrying about the results?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's been huge for me this year of obviously there's always going to be some like thinking about the result, and I'm going out because I want to win and I know that I can win. But there's also, I think for me, I've tried to really focus on what I can control, and those little things of, when it comes down to it, it's a judge sport. I have no control over what they're gonna decide to score my jumps or my turns or whatever it is, and so I can only control what I do, and trying to focus on my goals of being, I want to hit this jump this way, or I want to have the fastest time, or these little things in my own skiing and my run, because you can win and not be happy with how you skied. I guess if you're happy with what you did and your performance and how you skied, then really that's all that matters, and that's all that you can control. So trying to focus on that as much as possible.
And when we talk about the in-between moments, I have been watching this season for you pretty closely. And yet, I'll be honest with you, among all of your victories, the moment that stands out is the Dallas Cowboys cheerleader moment that the free ski team decided to embrace earlier this season. If you have not seen the video, we will link it. We'll put it in the comments or in the description on YouTube, and then make sure that if you're listening to this podcast, you come to our social page. I'll have a link for it there. Walk me through how this came about, that we were out here doing a cheerleading routine in what looked like a decent amount of snowfall, and you guys were having the time of your lives.
Yeah, so I guess I don't know exactly. I think just how it started is one of my teammates, Casey Hogg, has been watching, or has maybe just always watched the DCC show, and was talking about like learning their TikTok dance. And so we had a week training camp up in Canada and started to learn it. And then it spurred into her continuing to choreograph more onto the end of it, and turned into like a 2-minute performance at that point. And it was just too good not to share. And so we had our World Cup at Deer Valley, and it just seemed like under the lights at night, the perfect, like a big crowd, the perfect opportunity to be able to perform it. So we ordered our pom-poms and got them to play the song for us, and yeah, put on a performance down at the bottom of the course.
What was that like? Because like, so there's a different type of nerves, right? So from like to like performing something that is not your sport. How did that feel? What was going on inside your stomach when you were waiting for that music to drop?
Yeah, I was very nervous about it, and it was like I had so many like friends and family and like a bunch of people, they all have their phones out videoing, and I mean, I love to dance, but it's like not my strongest suit maybe. Like I was in dance as a kid, and I was the kid who was always watching just like one beat behind everyone else. So I was definitely very nervous before doing that. And not a lot more nervous than I thought I would be. But
more
yeah,
nervous going for the medal that night, or doing the dance?
Doing the dance for sure. I was not nervous at the Olympics, like my final run. It was, yeah, I was so much more nervous for this dance.
And then once you got out there and people start cheering, you get in the rhythm of it. How much did that become? Like, I can imagine that's one of those moments when you look back at your career, when you look back at this season, you remember the victories, but my gosh, where does that memory stack up?
Oh yeah, I'll never forget that one. Yeah, who knows? Maybe we'll keep working on new dances, and this will become a thing that we start doing. But yeah, it became just a fun thing for us to do. We have so much downtime on the road, and all these places to just, add some dancing to our warm up, and yeah, it's super fun.
It's giving like Remember the Titans when they walk into the dancing warm-up song. I think this could work. I think this could become your mantra. I think let me know how this goes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll have a few more events in this 2025 qualifying year, World Cup finals, and then I believe championships, right? A few weeks later. So for you, what are your biggest goals for the rest of this season, this qualifying year for the 2026 games?
Yeah, so right now I have my sights set on a couple globes this season that I am in the running for. There's I guess I'm leading right now both the dual mogul globe and then the overall for mogul and single globe. So yeah, with one more with World Cup finals, hoping to take those and take the overall leader for the World Cup season, which would also, I think, lock in my Olympic qualification spot for next year, which would be huge. And then, yeah, World Championships. I got 2 silvers at the last World Championships, so hoping to bump that up to gold this time.
Awesome. Well, we cannot wait to root you on in the remaining part of this season and then hopefully into 2026. So, yeah, so fun to get to know you. We have a few more segments. We're going to switch gears now into what we call our Something to Sip On segment. It is brought to you by the Sports Bra, which is a women's sports bar in Portland, Oregon. And so, Jaelin, the week of your episode, they are going to be serving a drink called the Jaelin, and it is the cocktail or mocktail of your choosing. What are you sipping on around the world? What is your go-to drink?
I mean, I really have to go with a margarita here.
I mean, why
That's
not?
definitely my go-to. So,
Any particular flavors, or are we doing with just like the original classic?
I would go with a spicy margarita.
Ooh, I love a good spicy marg. I love a good spicy marg. It's hard to do, but I have had the sports bras before. Very good. So I have no doubt they will do you justice.
That's
All right.
amazing.
And now it's time for our Powered Up segment. So Jaelin, this is where we do rapid fire questions and just try to get to know you a little bit better.
Okay.
So coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Favorite ice cream flavor?
Tillamook utterly chocolate. But if I have to go like standard, non like brand ice cream flavor, I would go Moose Tracks.
Shout out to Tillamook though, because that is, I don't know, is Wyoming considered the Pacific Northwest? Like, do y'all consider yourself the Northwest?
The West. The
Okay,
Wild West.
because Tillamook is an Oregon brand, right? I lived in Oregon for a
Yes.
really long time, and I love Tillamook. Everything Tillamook,
It's
it just
so
like
good.
levels up. Cheese, ice cream,
Yeah.
Tillamook, you do it great. Shout out to Tillamook.
They know what they're doing.
What is your go-to meal before or after competing in Moguls?
I would say that my go-to meal before, we definitely, deal with what we have on the road. But
Yep.
if I'm choosing before, I would make a like avocado toast with some cheese and an egg on it.
Girl
A
after my
little
own heart.
arugula.
Girl after my own heart. I love a good avocado toast for breakfast. Early, are you a night owl or an early bird?
Night owl.
Night owl. What is your favorite place your sport has taken you?
My favorite place the sport has taken me would have to be Japan. I love Japan.
Cool. Cool. They have gotten some
Yeah.
massive snowfall this year. Everybody who loves skiing and snowboarding seems like they're going to Japan.
Yeah, I would love to go.
You're like, but I'm trying to qualify for an Olympics, so next record snowfall, I'll be out there. If you were not a Olympic mogul skier, what sport would you want to be an Olympian in?
Let's see. Yeah, another sport I'd want to be an Olympian in. I think I would go with hockey.
Ooh.
I think it would be really cool to be a part of a team event. And I think hockey is really cool. I'm no good, but I think it's a very cool sport.
It is a very cool sport. I'm with you on that. That's awesome. What is your dream vacation spot?
My dream vacation spot. Oh, I don't know. I'm really thinking about skiing in Japan now, but also going surfing somewhere. So I'm
Okay, so maybe a little trip to Fiji is on your
Yeah,
dream
okay,
vacation,
Fiji
your
could
vision
be,
board.
yeah.
Oh, that's fun. If you need some surf trip advice, that's my thing. So you let me know.
I'm always looking for surf trip advice. So
Fun. Okay, well, we'll plan a surf trip after Milan Cortina next year. That's on our radar. What is the wildest mishap? I'm not talking serious injury. We're trying to keep this light. So what is the wildest mishap you've ever had in your sport?
the wildest mishap. Um, I don't
I keep it together all the
know.
time. There's nothing.
Well, I guess it's not like wild, but I forgot my boots at the hotel one time in China and
Oh,
had to like I got there in time for skiing, but like in between qualifications and finals, and it was very stressful because the bus drivers like were just taking their cigarette breaks and wouldn't drive me back to the hotel to get my boots, so I was in full panic.
oh
But I
no.
got them eventually and it was fine.
Okay, good. Geez, that would be very stressful to compete without, to like be like, I need these. I can't just fit
Yeah.
into somebody else's boots. Okay, and then the last question is, this is the PowHERful Podcast, and we are so excited to be highlighting powerful women like yourself. So, Jaelin, when I say the word powerful with the H in the middle, what does that mean to you?
Um, I mean, I feel like what jumps out to me is like that's how it should be. Like women are just have so much power and strength and resiliency, and to highlight that and to, I guess, be a part of that, be able to be someone that kids, girls can look up to, and feel inspired by is really amazing. And yeah, it's really cool.
That's awesome. I agree with you wholeheartedly. So, thank you, Jaelin, for taking the time, managing the time zones, to be on this podcast. It's been so fun getting to know you, and I cannot wait to continue to root you on here in this qualifying season and then hopefully in Italy next year. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much.
All right, Powerful Pod Squad, we will see you next week. Thanks for joining us. This is a reminder to check us out every Tuesday, everywhere you get your podcasts. And if you really enjoy this and don't want to miss an episode, be sure to hit that subscribe button.